Every Big Brother season, one or a few players just seem to fail at winning competitions. They may win one or two, but statistically, they manage to flop at many competitions. It seemed like Ashley took up this role on Big Brother 27. She won a critical veto in week 1. It's how she managed to go from the target that week to making it to finale night. Most people probably expected Morgan and Vince to win part 1 and part 2 of the final head of household competition. Many doubted Ashley's ability to cause an upset and stop this powerful duo. Well, those naysayers were proven wrong on Friday when Ashley gained her second competition win of the season. She won the second part of the final head of household. This means that she faces Morgan on Sunday in part 3 of the final head of household competition. One of them will become the final HOH of the season. They then pick who to take with them to the final 2. Everyone expects Morgan to take Vinny to the finals. After her competition win, Ashley also confirmed that she plans to take Vinny to the finals. Both women probably beat Vinny in a final 2 scenario. However, neither victory is completely set. The jury seemed more positive about Vince's game than expected on Friday's special episode. Nonetheless, we know how editing works. Leading questions and sound bites can make the jury seem set on a potential winner, but that's not the reality of the votes. Ashley winning part 2 is such an exciting upset because, if you've been watching Big Brother for the last few seasons, often we see the expected outcome during these first 2 parts. The players dominating competitions once again take the victory. This leaves the person with less competition wins just at the mercy of both of these players. It's just a nice surprise and change to see that pattern broken. It reminds us that sometimes the underdog can win. Additionally, Ashley's unexpected victory brings some excitement to the Big Brother 27 finale. Part 3 of the final head of household, unless it suddenly changes, just involves questions about things related to the jurors. It's more of a memory competition than anything. This means Morgan and Ashley have about an equal chance to win it. Therefore, we have a lot of anticipation for this one more than others, because no one has the advantage. Plus, we know that they will cut each other, which means it's also a fight to not finish in 3rd place. Most likely, Morgan beats Vince in the final 2. She has more competition wins, hasn't upset as many jurors, has a better gamer reputation, and many of Vince's moves are perceived as her moves. A Vince versus Ashley scenario has more unpredictable variables. Based on how the house guests have spoken about Ashley's game, it doesn't seem like many respect it. They also don't seem to like Vince's moves throughout the season. Also, if Ashley cuts Morgan, this might be a big enough move to secure her a victory. Additionally, Vince being an unemployed 34-year-old versus Ashley, a 25-year-old lawyer, which only Rachel and will know, could factor into people rewarding him the victory. They may think he needs the win more than she needs it. Ashley's victory really adds some unexpected elements to the finale night. If Vince had won part 2, things probably would have become a lot more predictable. However, Big Brother Season 27 bid farewell to Ava Pearl during the September 25, 2025, episode, after Vince voted her out, taking Ashley to the next stage of the competition. With that, Ava joined Rachel, Will, Kelly, Lauren, and Keanu in the jury house. While speaking to Parade, in an interview published on September 26, 2025, Ava reflected on her eviction and her overall journey on the show. When asked about the White Locust twist and her infamous decision to send Vince first in the safety chain competition instead of Rachel, she said, "I don't think I regret my decision, because maybe I wouldn't have made the top 4 if I had made a different one." The Big Brother evictee explained that she picked Vince because Rachel had asked her not to choose Lauren, who wanted to go in the wheel first. So, to avoid blame and getting on the wrong side of anyone, she went with Vince, convinced he would pick Lauren as his next choice, which he did. "So, it was my way of kind of avoiding getting blood on my hands and kind of passing the buck off onto him," she added. Big Brother Season 27 alum Ava Pearl had called a house meeting before her eviction. During this meeting, she informed Morgan that Vince had told her that he did not want to take her to the final 2. Ava added that, unlike what he told everyone, he intended to save her over Ashley during the eviction. although Vince sent Ava packing. Ava's comments planted a seed of doubt in Morgan's mind. When asked about her decision to out Vince's gameplay, Ava said, "So my intentions with calling the house meeting was pretty much just YOLO. I knew I was going out the door, and I don't think that I could have done a different strategy." According to her, she had made the right choice, now that she was aware of them being part of the judges' alliance. She wanted to go out with a bang and believed she did that. The Big Brother evictee then reflected on her tense attitude toward Vince, sharing her thoughts on his game as Vinny the Lip. Before making any statements, Ava clarified that on a personal level, she did not see Vince as a bad guy whatsoever. However, on a game level, she disapproved of how much he lied to people in the house. According to her, those were unnecessary lies, which he could have avoided. Regardless, she stated that they had had a long road. She also spoke about her confrontation with Keanu earlier in the series, when he accused her of having a prompt during a veto ceremony, and called his behavior rude. Ava explained that she needed to speak out because if she had not, the other houseguests would misjudge her silence and assume they could speak to her in whatever manner they pleased. Despite the tension, Ava admitted to having developed a close connection with Keanu, saying, "But yes, we did end up having a final 3. And frankly, my relationship with Keanu on a personal level, chilling. No problems personally." While commenting on the 3 finalists in the Big Brother house, Ava called Ashley strategic, Morgan a comp beast, and Vince smart. However, Big Brother ends in less than 48 hours. This means Ashley, Morgan, and Vince have to stress about whether they can win the season. Each player has made some mistakes that could haunt them at the end of the game. However, Vince finds himself most haunted by the ghosts of past decisions. Much of the few hours of daytime feeds revolve around Vince's pity party. Morgan is the only one who attends it. Meanwhile, Ashley can finally celebrate a major victory. Thursday's live eviction show knocked us down to just 3 houseguests left in the Big Brother 27 season, and that means it's time to saddle up and head into the final HOH competitions of the season. This one is more than just being free from the threat of eviction. This time it's about getting to finale night in control of the game. The judges have officially cornered the F3 for this season after losing Rachel then Will. Ashley, Morgan, and Vince have all made the cut after they sent Ava out the door in the latest eviction. So which of them would rise to the challenge and win out to the end for a chance to name their F2 pairing? Okay, I think we all know what to expect there. Feeds returned around 1:40 a.m. BBT, so this was a long competition situation. When they returned, we were watching Morgan and Ashley happily chatting in the lounge with no Vince in sight. Eventually Vince came back from the DR and went straight to storage, where he stood eating an array of snacks, switching out each minute to a different brand. Kind of funny to watch. Then he slowly shuffled around to find the other 2 HGs. Once the F3 was back together and talking, we learned the competition was spinning. Maybe those discs they stand on? We will see how it looked in Friday's episode. Each of the 3 remaining HGs would have a chance to compete in the 3 rounds of the final HOH. Winner of the first round, typically an endurance comp, would then move on to the 3rd round, which is live during the finale. The other 2 players would have a second shot at the title with another competition, round 2. That second round is typically more mental, with events from the season and delivered under a physically tasking situation. However, Big Brother 27 on September 26, 2025, showed how the remaining houseguests are trying to manage both strategy and emotions as they approach the end of the season and the $750,000 prize. Live feed updates captured frank conversations between Morgan, Vince, and Ashley about mistakes, jury perceptions, and the unknowns of the last head of household competition. Morgan asked Vince, "If you were me, would you take someone that guarantees you $750,000? Vince, still upset about misreading instructions in the previous challenge, admitted he had been so obsessed with days for some reason that he overlooked the actual order. Morgan reassured him that his frustration was aimed at the game, not at anyone personally, and urged him to give yourself some grace. With only the finale ahead, the 3 are comparing resumes, recounting social moves, and considering how jurors might react, without revealing any outcomes. These feed updates gave fans a close look at the finalists' state of mind as strategy debates began to sound more personal in the countdown to the finish line. The September 26th live feeds featured a long exchange between Vince and Morgan about his performance in the recent competition. Vince said, "I wanted that more than anything I have ever competed in my life, and I blew it because of directions. Order means 1, 2 and 3. Not day." He explained that he had been so obsessed with days that the real instruction did not click. Morgan reminded him that this was the first time directions were given mid-challenge rather than beforehand and told him to give yourself some grace. Vince responded that maintaining composure was really important to me. "I was thinking about OTV the whole time," and admitted that his outburst was out of character. Morgan stressed that she saw his frustration as directed at the game, not at her or Ashley. This back and forth showed both the emotional strain of late-game competitions and the support that can still exist between players who may soon have to face each other in front of the jury. Without giving away results, the feeds highlighted how a single misstep and a public display of frustration can weigh heavily on a finalist so close to the prize. Later, the discussion shifted to endgame scenarios. Morgan asked Vince directly, "Do you know what you will do yet? Are you nervous to sit next to me?" and admitted she was nervous to sit next to both remaining competitors. She pointed out that if Ashley wins the final head of household and takes someone else, her winning the final HOH could get her a win in this game. They compared everyone's game records, with Morgan noting Vince's 4 HOHs, impeccable social game, while Vince countered that many jurors might be upset with his moves. He even listed people who will never vote for me, while Morgan emphasized the importance of convincing jurors after the last competition. Ashley's name came up frequently as they assessed her path to the finale, with Morgan saying that Ashley had been a block nominee but rarely a target. These candid conversations showed how, as the finish line nears, strategic analysis blends with personal admissions. Without giving away results, the feed showed the finalists talking openly about loyalty, jury opinions, and their own strengths and weaknesses, knowing the last choices could shape both the final two and how they're remembered in the game. On September 26, 2025, Big Brother Season 27 released a new episode, which featured the recent evictees, namely, Kelly, Lauren, and Keanu, joining Rachel and Will at the jury house. Rachel and Will, who had been serving as jurors for a while, were shocked to see Keanu arrive as the latest evictee. Rachel confessed she was rooting for him and had not hoped to see him walk through the doors. Although disappointing, she held him responsible for his own eviction from the Big Brother house, criticizing him for trusting Vince over her, even when she warned him not to. Later, when the jurors watched how Keanu's exit had played out, Rachel asked, "Keanu, why are your reads so bad?" Keanu had to leave the Big Brother house after his friend Vince, who was the head of household, HOH, at the time, orchestrated his eviction by putting him on the block. While Keanu was under the impression that Vince would put Morgan on the block, Vince had no intentions of going against his ally in the house. As a result, Vince targeted Keanu and sent him packing. When Rachel found out that Keanu had expected Vince to go after Morgan, the person he was closest to in the house, she looked down on his gameplay. Shortly after Lauren and Kelly arrived at the Big Brother jury house, Keanu walked in, saying, "They finally got me." All jurors were shocked to see him, as it confirmed his elimination from the race to the finish line and the $750,000 cash prize. Rachel, in particular, with whom he shared a love-hate relationship, was disappointed to see him get ousted from the competition. "Too bad we were rooting for you," she said, telling him he should have paid heed to her advice. While speaking to the Big Brother cameras, Keanu admitted it was unfortunate to be in 5th place. He blamed Vince for his eviction, pointing out that he did him wrong the most even when he trusted him out of all the other houseguests. According to Keanu, Vince was a spineless weasel. As for Rachel, she told the Big Brother cameras that she felt super bad for Keanu because she knew he played an amazing competitive game. Although she was disappointed to see him in the jury house, she held him accountable for the consequences of trusting the wrong people. That said, the former winner added that she could have coached Keanu better. Later in the jury segment, the jurors gathered to watch Keanu's eviction. Rachel was shocked and upset to see how much trust Keanu put in Vince, someone who had lied to him about assuring his safety. She called Keanu's gameplay crazy, to which he admitted that she had warned him about Vince multiple times. "I don't know, maybe listen to the Big Brother winner," Rachel said. The Big Brother Season 13 winner added that Vince only built his resume by getting someone like Keanu out of the competition. Rachel further called him out for believing Vince would target Morgan. That said, Rachel teased Keanu by asking him if he was the one who had urinated on the floor of the Big Brother house. While Keanu said he did not know, Rachel asked him to use a mop the next time. Back at the main house, the three finalists, Vince, Morgan, and Ashley, competed against each other to take home the winner's title. However, just when it seemed we were in for a predictable finale to Big Brother Season 27, the CBS reality series delivered the classic reveal that earned it the title, Expect the Unexpected. After Morgan Pope secured another clutch win in Part 1 of the final Head of Household competition, big things are happening in the house after Part 2. Vince Panaro and Ashley Hollis had to duke it out for a chance to compete against Morgan in Part 3, with one winning the final HOH and selecting who would join them in the final two chair. Those watching Big Brother online likely know what happened, but for those who don't, let's dive in and talk about this wild turn of events. Ashley Hollis, aka the same Ashley who hadn't won a competition since the Week 1 veto, has now won Part 2 of the final Head of Household. At this point, many Big Brother fans felt like it was a foregone conclusion that the Cheatments alliance of Vince and Morgan would be competing for this. Now the narrative has flipped, and instead of wondering if Vince will win and cut Morgan, we're now thinking about how this could go the other way around. Right now, one has to wonder if Ashley ends up beating Morgan and taking her to the final two, if she'd really pick her ride or die over taking Vince. Ashley taking Morgan in a show of loyalty would likely play out the same way it did for MJ Manbeck when she took Chelsea Banham in the final two. That is to say, she'd be showing loyalty, but effectively giving herself second place. If Ashley won the final HOH and ended up cutting Morgan and taking Vince to the final two, it would give her the best chance possible at winning Big Brother. Sure, Vince still has more accolades than she does, but his poor jury management, paired with his inability to win the last few competitions when he needed to, could give her enough support to win the prize money. That said, I personally really question whether or not Ashley can clutch out a victory against Morgan when she has to. She absolutely has to do that to stand a chance at winning, as being taken along by Morgan will not be enough to get a win. Also, Morgan is definitely going to take Vince over Ashley, as she's closer with him and is positioned to win in any case. If you're rooting for the most tense ending, then hope that Ashley does the unthinkable and cuts Morgan over Vince. Get the most out of a Paramount Plus subscription and sign up to its more premium plan. You're essentially getting two catalogs of content, throwing together both Paramount Plus and Showtime originals. And if you're a big fan of the likes of Tulsa King, Survivor, 1883, and having every episode of Big Brother as well as live sports, and those Showtime titles, Cinema Blend always suggests saving big with the annual plan, working out to be as little as $10 a month view deal. However, Part 2 of the Big Brother 27 final Head of Household, HOH, competition has been played, and its winner was a shocker. After Ava Pearl was evicted, Morgan Pope, Vince Panaro, and Ashley Hollis, the remaining three judges alliance members after Rachel Riley and Will Williams were evicted, made it to the final three. Morgan won the first part of the final HOH competition, and then Ashley and Vince battled it out in Part 2. The Big Brother 27 live feeds revealed that Ashley won Part 2 of the final HOH competition, which means that she and Morgan will face off in Part 3 during the live finale on Sunday, September 28th. Whoever wins will choose whether they take the other or Vince to the final two chairs. This was only Ashley's second win of the season, so it was surprising that she pulled it off versus Vince. When the live feeds returned, Morgan was consoling an upset Vince, while Ashley danced in the kitchen. Vince was devastated because he had a 20-minute lead over Ashley, but he didn't read the directions for the competition correctly. Ashley was seen talking out loud stating that her plan was to eliminate Morgan and take Vince with her to the final two if she wins Part 3 of the final HOH competition. If Ashley ends up winning part 3 of the final Big Brother 27 HOH competition, then she should stick to her plan and take Vince to the final 2 with her instead of Morgan. Morgan has played a much cleaner social game and won more competitions than Vince, who's burned nearly everyone in the jury.